Hi guys, I'm Adam Wilborn from WhatCulture.
And I'm Andy Murray from WhatCulture, and on behalf of the great city of Aberdeen, let me just say a warm hello to all the Rangers fans out there.
Hello to our American viewers. This is the news.
So, story number one revolves around Mr. Finn Balor, who surprisingly lost the WWE Intercontinental Championship on this week's Raw.
Yeah.
He fell to Bobby Lashley thanks to a distraction interference thing. Classic WWE from Lio Rush. So, I bet when that happened, you were all sitting there in your little nerd chairs going, why has he lost to Bobby Lashley? I made that exact same noise when it happened. It was really weird. It confused us all. Well, folks, we have got the real reason why Finn Balor lost the Intercontinental title. Kind of. Word on the street, and by the street I mean at WrestleVotes on Twitter, is that WWE may have something even bigger planned for Finn at WrestleMania. Something bigger than the Intercontinental Championship. I have a direct quote from them here. They were talking to a source, or so they allege, and they have the quote, "I'm figuring they took the IC off Finn for a reason. I think they have something for him at Mania." So, speculation. Go.
Well, the obvious thing that people thought when he lost the IC title was, this is just going to build to the Demon versus Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania, which would be fine, I guess. But if it's not that, and they're talking about something big planned, the big question mark hanging over WrestleMania is who is The Undertaker going to face? And a lot of people have speculated in the past that the Demon should face The Undertaker. I reckon that could be one of the things.
Yeah, I mean, that could certainly be an option. I could honestly see them squashing The Undertaker this year if he's working StarCast and Vince is annoyed about that. It'd be quite funny. It'd be a good passing of the torch. It could work.
I think Finn is one of the very few people who could get a decent match, hopefully if they keep it relatively short, at The Undertaker.
I would hope so. It would be a fun thing to see, the supernatural element of those two characters coming together. There's also been speculation online that Finn might be added to the Universal title match, which seems kind of weird.
This is insane.
And is probably baseless, but again, it'll be interesting to see what WWE concoct for him at WrestleMania 34.
I get this, before pay-per-views they randomly just shove people in, but this is WrestleMania. This is the Royal Rumble winner taking on the guy who has held the Universal Championship hostage for months.
5 years.
Yeah, so it makes no sense to suddenly just drop Finn Balor in, and yet again, as we've mentioned with other matches, it waters down your main event triple threat as well.
It surely does.
I don't think that's going to happen. I'd like to see
I think that's nonsense as well.
I think Demon versus Taker is the best way to go. But speaking of WrestleMania, last night on SmackDown Live, we got another match confirmed for the grandest stage of them all. And that is, of course, Shane McMahon taking on The Miz. Shane McMahon announced on last night's SmackDown that he'd booked the match. He is The Miz's boss, after all. And he was going to give him a, quote, best in the world beating. This is not a surprise. But I'm still quite looking forward to this match.
Yeah, it was a really good promo from Shane. He showed good intensity, particularly when he was berating Greg Hamilton for not showing enough passion in his introduction. It was really good stuff, and I have reservations about The Miz as a babyface. He's a very skilled performer. He's a great sports entertainer. I think he's a lot better as a heel than a face, but Shane's promo is really good. I think his character work is going to be very strong heading into WrestleMania. And, it's not going to be a technical classic or anything, but WrestleMania is not about technical classics. It's about pantomimes, and these guys can have a fun pantomime.
It's weird. If you'd have told me a few months ago they're going to book Shane versus Miz with Shane as the heel heading into WrestleMania, I'd have gone,
Yeah.
But now I'm actually really looking forward to it. And another match that hasn't been officially confirmed, but we can probably guess is going to be happening at WrestleMania 35, is Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. A fantastic promo between the two men. Basically, WWE versus the Indies is what it boiled down to.
It really makes sense.
But it really got me hooked into it, and I can't wait for that match either.
Yeah, that's going to be tremendous stuff. Randy Orton, man, what a blooming promo that was. We rib on AJ Styles a little bit on here because it's fun. But he was on top form on SmackDown as well. But I loved Randy's little line about being the landlord and rent is now due, you son of a bitch. It was really good stuff. That match, two solid pros. Randy's really good with the right opposition. His heel character is great. AJ's obviously one of the best in the world. Yeah, Mania's looking quality.
I'll hold my hands up. What was going to be my toilet break match, I'm now actually really looking forward to it.
Me too, brother. Me too. Anyway, we've got a rather weird story here. So, as reported by your pal, Sean Ross Sapp at Fightful, Eminem was in negotiations with WWE for future appearances. Wow. He apparently was going to show up and do some promotional work for WWE 2K20, on which he'd also contribute towards the soundtrack. And he would also be promoting the move to Fox. Obviously, that's going to need some star power if WWE are going to hit those lofty ratings targets that the new network have set. So this was all reported, and very quickly, Eminem's team offered a rebuttal. So this is a quote from Dennis Dennehy, who's a representative of Eminem, speaking to Pro Wrestling Sheet. He said, there was a very brief exploratory conversation that involved a third party and 2K Sports, not Eminem's team. It has not gone beyond preliminary discussions, and any reports to the contrary are false. So at the moment, Fightful have replied to this and said, we stick by our story, blah, blah, blah. I think Sean Ross Sapp tweeted something to the effect of, well, they're going to look daft in a couple of months when it's announced. Either way, WWE love working with celebrities. Eminem is certainly one of those. What do you think of this?
I think it is going to happen eventually. I just think they didn't want the story to get out yet. So everyone in a few months is going to be like, told you so. But it makes a lot of sense, like you say. All the connections are there. It's something that WWE could do. And I think it's something that arguably Eminem might be interested in as well.
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen eventually.
It could happen eventually. But Eminem, you know, he's not quite the rapper he used to be, but he's certainly a big star. So anything that can be used to benefit the upcoming Fox launch. If you don't know what Eminem's been up to recently, you know, we used to call this guy the rap god. Some guys say he's the greatest rapper of all time. Here's a recent line from Eminem on a song called Rainy Days by Boogie. I left my legacy hurt, effing absurd. Like a shepherd having sex with his sheep, F what you heard. So, yep, sheep.
Still got it.
Heard, yep. That's your greatest rapper of all time, baby. Either way, it'd be pretty cool to see him show up.
Yeah, he's a legend, and I'd love to see him involved in WWE in any capacity. But certainly, if he was providing music for 2K, oof,
yeah. Would you like another lyric?
Please.
Okay, cool. In fact, I'm attacking the mic with it. I'll make it sound like a vampire biting it, but I'll have to be Dracula's sidekick to be down for the count. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, let's move on. So our final news story
please.
of today, and Kofi Kingston will not be facing Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania because it's impossible. The gauntlet that he's been set on next week's SmackDown Live. So the main event of SmackDown this week involved Vince McMahon and Kofi and his boys, obviously from the New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods, backing him up and saying, look, give him this opportunity. And Vince said he would. All he has to do is defeat Randy Orton, one of the biggest legends and you know, favourites of Vince McMahon, the current United States champion Samoa Joe, DeBar, and the man who has made the Claw famous yet again, Rowan. A gauntlet match against 5 guys next week on SmackDown Live. So yeah, we can cancel the Kofi Kingston Daniel Bryan match at WrestleMania for the WWE
what if
Championship.
The gauntlet starts and Kofi just loses in 5 minutes?
Just gets RKO'd. Yeah. Well, thanks for playing, and
goodbye.
We'll pick someone else. Look, I'm really excited. I mean, the way they've managed to build this from out of nowhere. After the Royal Rumble, we were there going, right, cool, we've got the Universal Championship match sorted, and what on earth are they going to do for the WWE Championship? And arguably, by the time WrestleMania rolls around, I'm going to be far more excited for that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, where would WWE be if Kofi hadn't just suddenly caught fire after Mustafa Ali's injury? It's really interesting to think about. Like, who would he be facing if who would Daniel Bryan be facing if Kofi Kingston wasn't suddenly the hottest male superstar in the company? It's really mental. But yeah, this was another great segment on SmackDown. This was the best Vince performance I've seen in years. He was absolutely tremendous. The New Day were fiery, they were pumped up, and then all these guys coming down and eventually getting their arses handed to them. You know, there's scope for shenanigans in this match. Samoa Joe has beef with everyone on the roster at the moment, it seems. Randy Orton has beef with AJ Styles. It could be interferences there. The Bar, you know, they can beat them relatively easily, and Eric Rowan's just kind of a big slug. So we'll see what happens. The last gauntlet match was awesome. Kofi will be great in it. Can't wait to see how it goes down.
Yeah, really excited for SmackDown Live next week as a result of that. And speaking of Kofi Kingston, we can move on now to our Twitter questions. You can tweet them at us at WhatCulture WWE. Our first question comes from Sean Acklin, who says, with Becky Lynch and Kofi Kingston going from being just there to inextinguishable white-hot heat, I like the way he's worded that, who would you guys want to see become a major player in the main event stratosphere?
Oh, wow, okay. Someone just like shot up the rankings, just like those two. Buddy Murphy.
Yes!
Buddy Murphy's brilliant. He's great. He's one of the most consistent performers across the board in terms of character, promos, the way he carries himself, his matches, his spots, his invention in the ring. He does tend to copy guys like Kenny Omega a little bit, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It feels fresh and different in WWE. He's great across the board. The problem is he's doing all this great work on a brand that no one watches. Get that man on Raw or SmackDown, push him to the moon, he'll be a star.
I was going to say Matt Riddle because I believe that you could just throw him straight up from NXT in the immediate aftermath of WrestleMania and get a lot of people talking. We always talk about the slump post WrestleMania. But if you're talking about guys who are already on the main roster who deserve a push, I think we've seen Cesaro be absolutely fantastic as part of this tag
Don't
team.
do this, man. Don't do this.
I just would like to see him at least have one championship match.
You're gonna drive yourself insane praying for a Cesaro push, man.
Right, let's move on to the next question, which comes from Zdravlegid.
Zadravla.
Is that what we're going with?
Big Z.
Yeah, Big Z on Twitter, who says, with SmackDown needing ratings for the Fox deal, do you see Becky and Charlotte staying on SmackDown and Asuka going to Raw during the draft?
Yep, 100%, absolutely. Like, they're going to stack SmackDown. They're either going to abolish the brand split or they're going to send all the big stars over to SmackDown. That's just what they're going to do. Interesting thing about this particular suggestion is that, unfortunately, and this is just objective, the likes of Becky and Charlotte and even Ronda Rousey haven't really proved needle movers. They haven't proved ratings draws. In fact, Raw's third hour tends to go down even further when those three are involved in it. It really sucks. It's a terrible thing because they're doing such great work at the moment. But yeah, no, they're obviously some of the biggest names in the company. They're people that guys like us really want to watch because they're doing great work, and I think they will stay on SmackDown. Asuka will go to Raw and job to Dana Brooke, who loves WWE, by the way.
Final question comes from It's Matt from New Zealand, who says, me again, which superstar which entrant superstars theme needs an update? Some of them these days just don't suit the superstars, i.e., this is a really good spot, Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, that's a really good shout, isn't it? I thought Becky Lynch for a while, actually, because the whoa didn't seem to really fit this badass anti-hero persona, but I feel like it's kind of part of it now. It feels really important. Natalya. Because that bloody guitar squeal.
Oh my God, Bret Hart!
It's Bret Hart! Oh no, it's Natalya every single time. So for no reason other than that, just change that because Natalya's really boring, and I miss Bret Hart.
I couldn't think of one. I'm going to go with Becky Lynch. Actually, I'm going to say WWE for WrestleMania, even if it's just for one show. Splash out because we've been blasting it in the WhatCulture office. The Killers, the man, play that for her entrance.
Yeah,
Can you imagine?
Imagine the
Who's
banner.
the man? She's walking out and she bloody wins the title.
Got another one. A bit of a weird one. Sonya Deville. Have you heard her entrance scene? It's the most epic thing ever. It's like a gladiators making their way down to the octagon. Or like it's like a Tokyo Dome main event song. And it's on Sonya, who I like a lot. I think she's great. But she's like kind of an undercard person. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Very quickly, bad news about them potentially splitting up. So RIP to sex and violence on SmackDown
The
Live.
chute is open.
Right, we mentioned Becky Lynch there, and I'm going to reference her for today's and finally. We all know she is
just caught a wee glimpse of your screen.
Yeah, the number one
weird.
The number one shooter on Twitter. But before there was Twitter, obviously wrestlers had to sort of promote their beefs in newspapers. And I want to show you something that's been on Reddit Squared Circle, along with our very own Adam Nicholas' fantastic video about Batista, Triple H, and getting what you want. Go and check it out on his Twitter, at It's Adam Nicholas. But Andre the Giant, back in the day, was promoting his match with Hulk Hogan, and he had this absolute zinger of a line. I don't like to speak badly of people. I've grown up thinking and being told that if you cannot say something nice about someone, you should not say anything at all. But I must break that rule in this case because I hate Hulk Hogan very much. Get ready. He's a big ugly goon and I want to squash his face. Becky Lynch, learn from that. Write that for your next Ronnie tweet.
No, he's not exactly Muhammad Ali, is he?
He was a boy, wasn't he? Love Andre. Right, let us know your thoughts on that.
Pooping in the bathtub.
All of today's news stories.
He did that.
There's a mental image for you.
He did? Yeah?
Yeah.
Big old chunks.
God.
This has gone off the rails, hasn't it? Let us know your thoughts on that and all of today's news stories in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on either iTunes or Spotify for daily wrestling podcasts. You can tweet all your questions, as always, at us at WhatCulture WWE. You can follow him on Twitter at
Andy H. Murray, unless you're a Rangers fan.
You can follow me at Adam Wilborn. You can follow Adam Nicholas, our lovely editor, who did a brilliant video that's been trending on Reddit Squared Circle today, at It's Adam Nicholas. My thanks to Andy Murray. Thank you for watching, and we will see you soon.
Chunks.
Big.